right, Bills fans, I pulled myself together to give you guys some good coverage. I've been covering you for 3 years, and not to toot my own horn, but if you go back, for people who've been watching me for the 3 years, you'll know that I kind of said you need to run the football, you need to work on play action, running the ball inside is the way to go. And I've been saying it over and over and over again. I said it would help with the blockers, it's going to help Allen. And I said I should have said Dorsey should have been fired last year, but I said when he got fired this year, Brady took over, that you guys will be very surprised and pleasantly surprised as long as he just understands basic football. And so from an evaluator standpoint, pains me to say, I was happy in that sense, not as a Dolphin fan, still not too happy, to see that my evaluations played out successful for you guys. Now, Allen was a huge part of it. He was like, 390 yards. I mean, he did so much on the positive and the negative. We understand that. But the offensive line play and the running of the football and the general theme of this offense by Brady was the key catalyst. And it's this style that is going to rest your defense and keep you guys going. And tell you the truth, I don't see you guys stopping until the conference round. It's going to be very, very tough if you have to go into the Ravens' house. If they lose, it's on to the Super Bowl, I think, almost 100%. You guys got the Steelers this week. They're not going to be as easy as you might think because that defense is going to kind of make things a little difficult. They can be a problem. Watt's not in there. And so, that's going to be a big help. But you guys are definitely, I believe, going to have an excellent shot to get to that conference round. The Ravens are so much like you. There's so many parallels between both your teams. It's going to be amazing. I obviously think you do have a shot, but that's going to be a difficult one. They're a very, very good team. So I want to get into the coverage of your team against my Dolphins, and it would have been a lot harder, but my Dolphin fans, man, I don't know. Guys, I'm going to have your coverage next. I just need a little bit more space because I've been making evaluations kind of similar like I did for my Bills fans and years ago, and now they play out and they're correct, and I get grief for being accurate. I got grief for making these evaluations years ago and this year and through the season, and then I get grief when I'm proven correct. I don't know. It's a very weird thing doing this coverage. I guess accuracy is not the main thing. But what I want, if any Dolphin fans are here, I'll give you guys your full coverage next. But this applies to everybody who watches football. This is like basic. Now, my GM did not understand this. Dorsey did not understand this. Bean, though, I think did because he drafted talent to get you into this situation. And Brady understands it really well. And I think McDermott, too, because he's driving some of this stuff. And this is my team, the Dolphins, with that speed that they had, unbelievable. We're trying to test these tried and true theories, but it proved not to be successful. Now, if they had the offensive line, it would have been different. But they went ultralight on flimsy in depth and starting talent on an offensive line and just jammed up the skills and thought you could overcompensate. But this graphic right here, this is the place where football is won and lost. Between the tackles in the A and B gap. All offense, let me get rid of the graphic. Let me show you. Let me say something very clear. All offense is driven through run control of the A and B gap and then protection through the A and B gap. You don't have to dominate all game, but at certain points, you do have to dominate. If you have no control over the A and B gap in the run game and then secondary in the pass game, because primary pressure, the most difficult pressure is that between the tackles. It gets there the quickest. It's the most disruptive. It's what DCs have been dialing up for like 20, 25 years as the most critical. It used to be off the left tackle, and now it's all interior. If you can't control that interior, then you are going to struggle. My Dolphins, they can beat good teams, but they can't beat good defenses because they don't have the horses to control the A and B gap. You Bills, you added Torrance, who he's been up and down a little bit, mostly an A's. He's rookie. He's excellent. Brown was given a huge dose now of the run game, is where his strength is, and still playing good everywhere. Much improved in the pass game. Dawkins, same thing. Morse has been very good in the run game, and your left guard has been sporadic, up and down. That's the weak point. But you add it all together, and you guys have been able to do this. And once you control that A and B gap, the focus becomes the A and B gap, and then you have Allen with the arm who could take advantage of the opens in the deep, the single coverage, and then he could boot out himself. Or a guy like Cook, he heads into that B gap, everyone pulls in, and then he jump cuts almost a gap and a half and bounces it outside with the speed. But it all is driven through control of the A and B gap. This is why my Dolphins struggled. This is why you beat them. There's a lot of reasons, but this is the primary reason. And I'm going to show you guys some stats. I'm not going to go too long because I'm sure you want to go to some other Bills coverage, but I want to give you real information because I don't think anybody else is going to tell you this. Now, what you guys did, you brought 5.7 blockers per pass, which is trending to the lower side. But when you take those blockers per pass and then you marry it with the number of times you were blitzed, 19 blitzes. So we were bringing 5 guys just about 50% of the time, and you guys were blocking with 5.7. And you were able to get the ball out 2.21 seconds, was extraordinarily low. Now, Tua was getting it out at 2.03, which is ultra fast. The release of his adds to that. But Allen was doing some good things. Brady was doing good things. But when you get the blitz, and then your protection on your blitz was 2.56, so you were holding up under there and not having to bring that higher, high 5-point, low 6-point to block. And that meant more guys in routes. And that's what you want. You want to run the football, get teams to run blitz you. You want guys to come in on that run blitz, play action off of it. And then in a pass game, you want them to blitz you and be able to hold up just enough to find that one-on-one. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. And Allen did it. He had his mistakes. Now, the second pick, it was 4th down. I thought maybe he should have booted out for the first. It was, 4th down. What are you going to do? He's either going to get sacked or throw someplace else, threw in the end zone and saved you about 18 yards. I don't kill him for that. Now, the pick in the end zone on the first one, that was foolish. He should have just gone down, thrown it out of the end zone. He's got to fix that because against the Ravens, or maybe in a critical matchup through these playoffs or the Super Bowl, is going to hurt you. McDermott had the halftime thing about controlling the football, and he was kind of pointing out at Allen. And I get it, but there is a little tension there. And he got out of this because the Dolphins are sort of an incomplete team, especially when you add in all these injuries. Now, the fumble was another one. It was an unlucky thing. Wilkins had a great play. Ball control is going to be the key. But Allen's a stud. What he did on the ground is, the one where he missed Diggs, there was pressure in his face on a blitz by Long, and I get why he didn't get that. At first, I was like, he doesn't miss those. But he looked really, really good despite the flaws. But he's got to clean that up or it's going to hurt your chances, and you really do got a chance to go this year. So I want to take a look at this. Look at your run attack. Okay, so the top is the Dolphins and bottom is the Bills. So you can see my Dolphins, they really had some, the purple is good, the red is bad, the blue circles are areas of note to pay attention to. So my Dolphins, we were successful on edges, although the 3 runs to the left, 1 was for 13 yards. That means 2 more for 3, because it was 6 yards after that. The run to the left, 2 for 19, 1 was for 10. So that was nice. We got a little bit off that edge over there, but inside 3 for 2 yards, 0.7 yards per carry is no good. Right guard, we had 2 for 26, which sounds great, but it was 1 big run and then 1 for 1. And that kind of sucked away our ability to run you out of your small front and nickel. I mean, when I say run out of nickel, doesn't mean you go into a big front necessarily, but you get sucked up, you pay attention, you focus, and then it diverts attention away from the edges and the deep. But we weren't able to do that because that right tackle, 4 for 12, 3 yards, not good. Right end, 4 for 27, good. Minus 16 on the 1 big run, 13 for 3. It's good. But we were living on big pop runs and then a lot of stuffs. And that alters the consistency. It puts you off schedule. Now, if you look at your running attack, you guys didn't do so well at the edge. 9 attempts for 9 yards, 4 long, 2 off the left for 2, not good. But inside, you had 2 for 19, 1 for long for 14, so it's still 1 for 5, which is good. Middle left, 3 for 12, 4, 5, so those were good carries. Middle right, 5 for 14, 2.8, 3 long, not good. Right end, 3 for 15, 5. But it was the number of carries inside that began wearing out this defense. Now, we had Seal and Wilkins there, who's unbelievable, and you're running at the strength, and that's kind of why I was limited a little bit. But the ability to keep running that football and not just have one big play, but 3, 4, 5, 3, 7, and that is a huge. You guys had the ball 77 plays to 48, and like 37 minutes to 23 against a defense that had both their edge players down, lost 2 in a game, and so this run game began to fuel everything. And then if you see at the bottom, the scrambles, Allen, obviously the 451, he had 4 of the 10-plus yards rushes where the rest of the guys only had 1. And you would say, oh, that's bad. But it's not, because you would get that 3 or 4 and put yourself on schedule on 2nd down or 3rd down and short. And it's better to have a bunch of 3 to 5 yard runs if you can keep those happening rather than a couple of big runs, because it's the consistency that is built through the run game. Offensive line is not what it used to be because they don't have the 2-a-days, the pass blocking, even the zone stretches. Those are tough calls to block. It is much easier to run inside zone, and I like what you got going here. You got even a draw going where you pull Brown down the line of scrimmage and you cap that left side. I kind of mentioned it in the lives. That was going to be an area to attack. And so this run game fuels the defense, fuels Allen, who then adds so much to it. First half, it was pretty close. We were up by 7. You look at the numbers, the plays, the yards per play. There was a lot of stuff that was similar. You had the 2 picks, and then you got the big special teams play, which was huge. Mistake by our guy, broke it open. But honestly, this defense, my defense played with so much heart. We were gutted. No X, no Phillips, Chubb, Van Ginkel, even good in the background. We had like Ingram at 34 years old who looked like he had a tire around his waist. But that's not an excuse, because the defense put us in position. Our offense let us down because we could not control those A and B gaps. You guys sat in nickel and blitzed us once. You created pressure. You slowed the run down in a nickel, only blitzing once. And so that means you had you guys sit back there and you were patient and you threw this offense off rhythm by stopping the run and putting us off schedule or being in position because you were dropping everybody all game. And our inability to run inside didn't get those blitzes. Those blitzes wouldn't come, where conversely you guys did. So I like your backs. I love what Allen's doing. This defense, I don't know what's going on with Douglas. That was a big injury. I hope he's, for you guys, he's back as an evaluator. I got to say that because. And then Davis, that's a big loss. So you guys took some nicks in the process. To me, Douglas is the biggest piece. Kincaid, I wasn't happy with Kincaid for you guys. Not because of the pass catching. I just thought his inability to run block was going to hurt you. And his passing, his ability to affect the pass has been huge. He's still subpar in the run blocking, but you guys are doing excellent because of your ability to block inside, and he can kind of do just enough. I think I'm going to have to alter my evaluation if you guys go against Ravens, because that's going to be a game where he's going to be forced to do more in the physical department, because that D is very, very tough. So I'm happy in some ways, I guess, for you guys. I love my man Tommy over at Mafia Sports Report. Please give him a praise. He's been very sick for a week. Love that guy like a brother. So I got friends that are in Buffalo and stuff, So I'm happy that this guy's playing the way he is. I'm happy that his inability to really block is not hurting you guys. And I don't think it's going to, and possibly that Ravens game or whoever you face in the Super Bowl. I think that will be the final distinction. But this kid's a stud. And I said in my live, I said, that's the guy I'm really scared about. I mean, because you had, and Shakir, Tommy at Mafia Sports Report is excellent. He told me Shakir 2 years ago. He was like, this guy, watch this guy, watch this guy. That beautiful, Eli Apple bit inside and a pop outside, but he had a couple catches over the middle. I think even with Davis down, it does hurt you, the big play ability. But Shakir, Diggs, and Kincaid are three huge weapons. I think your team, McDermott's going to get a huge reprieve with every victory. I want to know in the comments, though, let's say you go to the Ravens and lose against the Ravens. I would assume you're kind of considering it a failed season, but I want to hear what you guys think about that. But overall, Brady, I think, should remain your OC. He's done a very good job. I think Allen can still get better as he grows into this system and he learns to be a little bit more careful with the football. John Elway, who Fangio compared him to, had suffered very similar things. Guys with big talent and big arms, they learn to be consistent in time. And so people are down on Allen. I've always been a fan of his, except when he beats me, like all the time. And so I think that this team is really poised. I want to say congratulations. I wish it was me. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. That's the life of a Dolphin fan. So anyway, guys, I don't go on too long. I'll be covering you guys going forward now because it seems like with my Dolphin fans, I'm accurate. I tell them stuff like a year in advance, and then when it comes true, they get mad at me. So I think I got to go try to find I stay with my Dolphin fans to life. I got mental illness, but I got to branch out, and no matter what, how much energy, I got to start covering more teams. And Bill's a team that I've been covering for a while, and I know a lot of you guys. So I promise to give you some more coverage along with many other teams. I got to find the people who really want truth and not just hype. A lot of people just like cheerleaders and hopium pimps, and that's not me. Anyway, congrats, guys. Curtis saying, catch you next time. Be well. I can't say Dolphins. Play KC at 8 o'clock. Night. 9-degree weather. Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with AceBread.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.